time is, what day is the blind guy coming?
I can't remember, to be honest.
It's on that bit of paper, isn't it? I thought it was the 7th. Check it out later.
I can't remember.
Hmm?
I can't remember.
That dog must be at the track over there.
Yeah.
Evening, Tony. Just using my psychic abilities. Hello, high country. No worries. Sounds like you've been out and about, which is good. We've been having a bit of a look through, you know, going to New Zealand. Not sure when, but I don't think it'd be too far away. I always thought that the two countries would be the first to open up. Yeah, it's the same here. If you listen behind me over the oval, they're all back playing sport. Pubs are open. Try and work out what's not open. Do you know what's not open now? Everything's open, isn't it?
I think, no, there's a few things still got another week.
What are they?
Or,
I know our borders are closed.
like, cafes and that are, but it's all big distancing. Half the amount,
I
quarter the
think
amount
it's
of people.
20 people in a cafe, 50 in a restaurant. But just about back to normal. But people are still sort of avoiding each other as they walk around. The only cases we've had, we had a live ship come from the Middle East, and about a dozen of them were sick with it, but they got put straight into a hotel the government hired at the start of this pandemic, and I think they're all gone now, but we had none for ages until those 12 rocked up, but no one's really sick out of it, but they were forced into quarantine. And we've got 58,000 sheep in someone's paddock waiting to go on the boat. Not sure how that's going to go. Just as well it's raining, there's plenty of feed. Other than that, no one's in hospital. No one's got it here. I can't think of the last time someone got sick here. Can you remember?
No.
Ages ago now. But like I say, we hunkered down pretty early on in all this. Shut everything down. And the government here is thinking of doing some weird stuff, right? They're thinking of giving people up to 40 grand, just giving it to them, if they want to build an extension to their house or things like that, so they can keep the building industry going. Went to dinner first time, since everyone looks so happy. Yeah, I can imagine. Everyone's, look, here, everyone's, I think, just still being smart. Is Tony there?
I thought you said hello, Tony.
No, because he's been here first time. Most nights I thought he might have been here.
Oh, well, I beat him to it. Tony, he says 69, I said 96.
Yeah, so we've been doing the flitting around. We've been to New Zealand before. It's not new to us, but we're thinking to spend it maybe up to about 3 or 4 weeks there. having a good look around. Last time we only went for about 10 days or something, wasn't it? Something
If
like
that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it wasn't even 10 days.
7 days?
You think about what we did while
It was
we
at
were
least a week. I know it was
there. It
more
was
than
a week.
Nice to hear you come to sheepland. Well, there's a few sheep here, mate. We got millions of the buggers. Hello, VMAC. I hope you had a great weekend on the island last
Yes.
weekend.
Shh, don't tell everyone where she went.
I didn't say where she went.
It's the,
I said the island.
Yeah, but that's secret.
Yeah, no, it's New Zealand's just like Australia, except it rains more. The people are a little bit shorter and not as good looking, but they all have a sense of humour, so we'll get on fine. Mate of mine his father had farms from New Zealand in the 1920s, and the family's still involved with them. They don't have monstrous farms, but of course you get better production of feed than we do here. So sometimes it'll rain for years here. It always rains in New Zealand. We're thinking, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that flights between Australia and New Zealand will probably kick in before Christmas, I imagine, but we were thinking February or March. That's the hottest time of the year there, which is not as hot as it is here.
February, because it's not school holidays.
No, I'm trying to work out when the holidays finish. I think we might even have to go in March to beat the school holidays. I'm not sure. We'll have to look into that.
School is back around the 5th of February.
Evening, Tony.
See there. Scroll back, Tanya. I already said hello to you. Or do I have to give you another welcome?
It could get even closer as the years go on high. I'm thinking even part of a cooperation. New Zealanders will look at it as North Island, South Island, and the big West Island. And we should collaborate a lot more. We knew you were coming.
I was so...
VMAX says she wants a star.
Oh.
Mrs. Angle was just about to bugger off.
I was just going to turn this light down a little bit. It's just a little bit. I'll give you 3 stars and a chocolate.
I mean, we have in Australia at any given time. Look, you've only got, what is there? 5 million something New Zealanders in New Zealand. We've got close to 1 million New Zealanders in Australia. I'm not kidding you. And we already have bilateral agreements, like if I wanted to come over and buy a house in New Zealand, no big drama, same with a New Zealander. Oh, there's heaps. I used to work with heaps of them, played sport with them. You can probably hear a few of the Maoris training rugby behind me. Yeah, a lot in Perth, a lot in WA actually. Quite a lot in the mines, working in the mines. They do well.
I don't feel like I'm on the oval with them.
But there's always been an affinity between Australia and New Zealand for many things. One is we're very similar. And we like a laugh. Don't mind a drop. Don't mind taking the piss out of each other.
And they make good potato chips.
Yeah, they make good chips, good pies. Yeah, similar. Yeah, very similar, the food. When we first got to New Zealand, I said to the wife, we'll definitely try New Zealand, traditional cuisine. So we went and bought a pie, had a beer. Yeah, nothing like trying the local foods. I do hope one thing, because we all know our Pacific neighbours, closer to you than me, but hope they get, put into this bubble. Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, they've been pretty well kept out of this virus, which is good, but they've suffered terribly. A lot of Australians go to the South Pacific
just depends what other countries they let in.
Well, that's the other
the
side, isn't
thing,
it? Like if
because-
suddenly Fiji says, "Well, let the Chinese in,"
Yeah, then
Australians
I won't go,
Australians won't go.
because I would like to go to Hawaii one time, Fiji another time.
Well,
but
that's in the northern hemisphere, Hawaii.
Yeah, I know.
It's not next to
Fine.
Samoa.
I know. Well, it's years before, if we ever get to the US now.
There's a lot of Samoans are in New Zealand, quite a few from Tonga. I don't think a lot of Fijians move to New Zealand. I could be wrong, but I know we have quite a few here. But Samoans and Tongans for sure. I remember a comedian in the South Island was talking about his Pacific neighbours, and he was saying, good people, our neighbours, you know, those from Samoa, Tonga, North Island. He was suggesting the North Island was just a Pacific island north of South Island, which is the real New Zealand. Yeah, a lot of Fijians in Australia. Looked at buying a property years ago in New Zealand. Prices are still cheap there, I mean, compared to here. Jeez. And at one time, not too in the distant past, we could have bought houses in Canterbury for about $1. Mind you, they're halfway buried under the ground in the red zone, which I think still exists, doesn't it? Or they're pretty high here. Everything's going to come down anyway. You know, the world's, and we've gone okay in this, New Zealand and Australia, but the world will drag us down for prices. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not going to let any building. Have they demolished a heap of places through there in the red zone? Or they've just left them? I remember when I saw it years ago, different footage and the aquification, the water just sucking down buildings and bridges, and just no way of building on that stuff. I suppose it always should have been, but I mean, Canterbury gets shaken, rattled and rolled pretty regularly throughout the year. I do know I read about 3 days ago, that scientists have finally discovered that all of New Zealand is on a volcanic flume. Just like how Hawaii was developed, you know, one island, molten lava came up, became an island, whatever. Well, New Zealand is apparently on a big one. But they're saying that New Zealand has drifted over it, wasn't created by it, even though there's plenty of volcanic activity in New Zealand. Yeah, I've looked at some of the, because I love architectural countries. You can certainly see the English influence in parts of New Zealand, for sure. Hello, Mel. But it's like, Australia's similar, like South Australia's different than the rest of Australia. That was colonised, South Australia, where the rest of the state was, you know, built by prisoners.
Planters.
And every time Mel comes in the room, you know, when you watch television these days, there's always someone with sign language going off in the little corner. When Mel gets on here, I want, you know, a picture of, you know, sort of like this. Mel talks. Someone goes, I've been kept in the dark again, haven't I? I feel like the robot. out of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah, so that'll be our next trip point. We'll definitely be coming over. We'll go fishing with you. I'll take my spear gun and snorkel. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sounds good, mate. I'm sure you've been replicating a few of them. I'll definitely make you a pie when I get there. I'll make a lamb pie. Like in New Zealand lamb. Probably a lamb and potato pie, I think. We can make that happen. I can cook anywhere. We're just thinking about hiring a car. Oh, we're getting dinner pics any minute now.
Oh, okay. I shall.
I made spring rolls again. The kids come round. I made my home stir-fried rice with all sorts of things in there, including prawns, bacon, eggs, onions, you name it, peas, and spring rolls. They all disappeared, didn't they?
I think we need a couple of days of no food.
Yeah, I think that might be the game.
You've
Actually, I'm going to roast that pumpkin with some spuds tomorrow.
Yeah, just veggies, because you've actually think about what you've cooked for the last 2 weeks and you've been feeding the family, I know.
Yeah.
But
No, I'm looking forward to just maybe veg.
we had
Roast a couple of onions, big mob of pumpkin, potatoes, carrots. There you go. You got sour cream?
You have to check the date. Didn't I say it was out of date?
Oh dear. All right, Tony, we'll be counting the moments till you get back in anticipation.
A shower, don't forget behind your ears. And make sure you dry behind your ears. Clean towel.
One night off. Oh, I love roast veggies, really do. Yeah, I just have 4 ingredients on my roast. I chuck all the veggies in a pan, all about the same size roughly. And I put in salt, pepper, black pepper, and then I use dried parsley flakes, followed by smoky paprika. It looks good even before it goes in the oven. Hello, Leroy.
Mel's talking to you.
Well, I'm presuming they were bronze, Leroy. I've got researchers coming back to me with the full details, but we had to go to air tonight, so bronze it was.
Okay, I'm gonna look. All right, that's what you're gonna tell you. Yeah.
We eventually are getting our shed delivered tomorrow, I think.
Ooh,
Won't go up for about a week, but
that does look good.
oh, very nice. Very flash.
That's obviously the
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah, but we're just talking about roast veg. Looks like a bit of cumin on there too. Yeah, I'm the same, VMAC, but I tell you, I've always used dried herbs when roasting. Fresh herbs, other than maybe sage, you can chuck it in there, or thyme. The rest don't do that well. But if you've got dried herbs with your roast veggies, that seems to work a treat. It's one of the herbs, Rosemary, that you can chuck a heap of it in and it doesn't affect much.
Oh yeah, it does.
No, not rosemary. But if you chuck in other spices and herbs, ooh. Oh, I like fresh herbs, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll chuck fresh herbs in a stew. But when you're roasting, it's a bit different. You need that taste, but you don't want a lot of burnt herbs. Yes, Leroy's been in quarantine. They forced him to go to a lesbian island with 900 lesbians, and he was to be kept there to the end of his days. But he got away after about 9 months. Yeah, dry herb's a little bit stronger. Like I'm pulling out my basil bush tomorrow. We're into winter already. It's winter here. We've got 25 degrees today. It'll be 25 degrees tomorrow. This is winter. And I could let the basil keep going, but it naturally wants to go to seed. So I've been pinching off the flower buds for the last week, and I think, now I better take it out now while it's still at its peak. Just going to rinse the roots off, hang it up in a dry, cool spot, and in about 3 to 4 weeks I'll have dried basil whenever I want it. Eight degrees, oh dear. Yeah, right now it's 18 degrees at whatever time it is, 7:30, 7:15 or something. But the mornings have been cool, like 11, 12. But by 10 o'clock it's 21, 22. It's beautiful. Must be getting a few flurries come through high, I guess. Yeah, she comes in fast when she comes in New Zealand, though. We went to New Zealand in July, and when we got there, everything was covered in snow. But we spoke to a local taxi driver, said, mate, it's only snowed for 2 weeks. JP's got the fire going. Sure why you'd have the fire going on the Gold Coast, but still. I hear there's frost hitting most of the East Coast tomorrow. Going right through Victoria, New South Wales, parts of Queensland, and here, it'll be 25 degrees. Gets cold where JP is. I did hear a whisper that the RSL clubs are going to be opening up. That means 3 million New South Welshmen and women will be going to the RSL clubs. Yeah, that's probably down to 7 or 8 where he is, I imagine.
What's that noise?
That,
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was JP.
We have 18.
18.2 degrees
Celsius.
here. 3 degrees where high is. You can hear the sporting ground about a kilometre away. They're all back into it. I eventually got round to sanding back and didn't varnish, I oiled the Jarrah framework on the front door, which is not exciting for anyone, of course, but just thought I'd tell you. Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that has remained here is that people are still wary about being in their space. So that's a good thing.
When you walk out there, you can't hear it. But sitting here, we hear it.
It's bugging you, isn't it, the noise?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a ghost. So how cold is where JP lives? I'm guessing 7 or 8. 9, there you go.
Yeah, I've got a thick dressing gown on 18 and I'm cold.
We were there a couple of years ago and it was the coldest winter I'd ever felt in New South Wales. It was bitter, wasn't it? -5, -6. You're getting frost, mate. You've got 2 or 3 days of frost coming. Yeah, I think it'll remain. There's dots everywhere on the floor. I went into a bank in the local shopping centre today and they can only have 8 people in the bank. Big sign there. 9.7 speedo weather. Right, okay. What about 49 degrees, Leroy? That's speedo weather for sure. Yeah, over the east coast. The thing is, it gets cold and stays cold. Like the day passes, it might get to 13 or 14 degrees. It feels a lot colder. We lived over there for about 7 or 8 years all up, and it's nothing like our winters. We're suffering here. Like I say, it's 18 degrees, 25 today and 25 tomorrow. Ooh. I still had a jumper on. No one will believe me, but I did. Yeah, we don't get many mozzies this time of year. You get no bugs, really. Australian bugs love the heat. Haven't seen many bees, have we?
There was a few dead ones out there and I went out the back.
Oh, they
with
probably
the
froze at
welder.
18 degrees, I imagine.
Oh, that noise is annoying. And as some noises just annoy you. I'm very sensitive to certain noises.
Yeah, pretty similar temps. It was 2 years ago, but the winter, that was bitter. It just didn't. It just was relentless. -4s and 5s most mornings for about a month. We don't get frosts as a rule. It does in a particular year or two have 1 or 2 days that get down that low, but it's very rare here. And other than the Antarctic fronts, we get very little breezes during winter, which is good. So if it's cold, it's not really cold because the wind's not blowing. But when the southerly kicks back in, around about October, it's warmed up by then, but back to 50, 60k winds every afternoon. How's your garden going, JP? We've been eating out of ours for quite a while. Though we don't have much of a garden, we're still eating out of it. Yeah, this is, well, mind you, we're getting the temps here now. Yeah, carrots, they'll thrive. You can throw snow on carrots and they'll still be fine. Our broccoli's going berserk. Pak choy. I could take him for a little walk actually with a torch. Yeah, a lot of people get worried about broccoli. It gets reasonable size and there's still nothing growing in the middle. But you don't need to worry. That stuff happens fast. I will take you for a wonder into the darkness. Oh, there's a torch. Hey? Oh, I don't know. That's all the herbs. They're going pretty well. I'm going to pull the whole thing out, wash the roots, hang it up, and I'll have basil all year. And when I pull that out, I'm going to put some of these chives in. Garlic's up. It was planted about 8-9 days ago. We've been tearing into the spinach. There's some spring onions. There's the onions. There's the carrots. They're going all right. Grandkids are mainly getting to there. That's the iceberg lettuce that we just keep pulling the outside leaves off. Just keeps growing. And there is the broccoli. As you can tell, they're going all right. And this stuff just goes berserk. This is pak choy, great in stir fries. I've been having it. And the leeks are starting to come on now. But the broccoli, like I say, you start looking for the centres. There's a little bit of action, but you don't need to worry. It fills out pretty quick. This is about week 6 of planting seedlings. And we started eating about a week and a half ago. Look at this bloody pak choy stuff. Amazing. What ones are these? Oh, these are red onions. You start seeing a bit of the red on the bottom, actually. Nothing like a red bottom. These are the spring onions. They're going well. A few bugs. Other than that, everything's going all right. What's that? It's a bloody roo. Doink, 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 doink. All right, we're worried about the sound. Getting a little bit of movement on the fruit tree. This is a lemon tree with some new shoots coming out. So we know it's not dead. Mandarin. Quite a nice night, actually. It's not cold. Put you back down on the table because you probably all got seasick with that movement. All right, hi. Catch up with you, mate. Have a good one. Hello, Buttercup. Just took a walk into the garden. Because in that mix of soil, it was probably 50% cow manure. I won't be fertilising probably until about another 2 or 3 weeks' time, because you can put too much nitrogen into your plants and they just go berserk, really. Oh, temps have been good here, Buttercup. Like I say, today was 25. We get spoiled. All week's about 24 or 25 for the next 10 days. Yeah. You know that dried pulverised cow manure, you can literally just plant in that. It's broken down enough to become a medium like soil, and it's very rich in nitrogen, of course. Something I wouldn't use, like I'll mix a bit of other soil into different pots when I grow my tomatoes and chilies, because you don't want a tomato bush too fertilised, because you end up with a massive bush and very few flowers and very few fruit. That's a bit of a balancing act. But it decomposes, eventually just becomes a soil medium over the years. But it's all organic stuff. We get a 40 kilo bag, like a big sack of potatoes, of pulverised cow manure is only $10. So that's pretty good going. Mix it with some compost. And the plants love it. And in a few months we'll have the front of the house finished. And then we'll get some more pots, and you want roses, don't you?
Yeah.
Bloody cold here, Buttercup. It's down to 18 degrees.
I need more winter jammies.
I use, I'll show you actually.
He pees on it.
Yeah, it's the same effect.
No, he doesn't. I'm just kidding.
You've seen that before. Sea salt. You don't need much. That little green cap on there, a cap full of that in a 5 litre container. My garden's not big, but that will do all my garden. So this thing will last me about 7 years. Strawberries love this time of year in the UK. I mean, normally we'd be talking about Wimbledon, wouldn't we? And the amount of strawberries that get consumed there. Strawberries you could plant now with runners, but nothing would really happen for 6 weeks. But I'll actually put strawberries in.
I want to do it in hanging. I don't want it...
Into the plants. Well, you can do the plants, but I always try and make a point of watering the soil, to be honest. But if the plant's in the way, you water the plant. But you don't need a lot. This sea salt is a great base because it's all natural and it's got all the nutrients that most plants need. So you could use that if you wanted to on fruit trees, but I've got different stuff for fruit trees. I'm not doing anything with my fruit trees until another 6 or 8 weeks. You need them to start budding and moving, and then you feed the plant. But like I say, we don't have a big garden, but we've been eating for a week and a half out of it. All sorts of things. We'll just go down and take a colander down, fill up 10 or 12 litres of lettuce. Yeah, sea salt's good. But whatever the instructions say, I mean, this is a 500 ml container. But I only ever... Oops.
Knock them out.
Sorry about that. I only ever use that cap, which I think is probably about 10 mil, 15 mil, you know what I mean, JP? That's how I've always, in a 5 litre watering can. That's more than enough.
That noise has stopped now, thank goodness.
I can just hear a little, like a in the air.
Yeah, apart from the cricket.
I think it's 5G.
Oh, shut up.
Ah, he's twitching. I'm just kidding. Our daughter's getting fat, isn't she?
Well,
Big belly on her now. Mrs. said, no. Gardenias are beautiful. Very pleasant smell of gardenia. In fact, I'd rather gardenias than roses myself, but...
yeah, the gardenia oil's nice too.
Oh, it'll be legal soon enough, JP, in Australia. No one really cares.
I see Jono growing it, and the next thing he's got how to bake cookies on his channel.
Most fruit trees, really, like the ones we've bought, you don't really get a crop to about year 3 anyway, and it's not a big crop. As painful as it sounds, for the first 2 years here, I'll just be cutting the flowers off the fruit trees.
And keeping the tree trimmed, because
Yep.
we don't want them big.
No. Yeah, I don't think it's like growing 4 plants each. Probably a lot of Canadians don't grow the stuff.
Female, you can just say you're growing one for Jono, your friend in Australia.
Yeah, send it by post.
Yeah, right.
This time of the year where you are, they love a good feed. Mature fruit trees here in Western Australia, the fruit would be on by about now, and it would be ripening around about July, end of July. We've never smoked inside a house, ever.
Made cookies, Jono. We lost Mel again.
She disappeared into the darkness. So I imagine you've got lettuce growing now, JP. Pretty hot weather. Yeah, we've had pretty cold weather, about 25 degrees here today, Buttercup. No, I've been a smoker for a long time, and I've never smoked in a house. It's just not on.
What's hot thing for you, Budgie?
Well, I got up to 25 today, and that was still pretty cool. Jumper weather. Yeah, your strawberries will be a bit slow now, mate. You get any black smut on your strawberries, which is looks like black oil. The leaves start to rot. Just do that old trick with the half a glass of milk, half a glass of water. Shake it up and sprinkle it on top,
Oh yeah, the old milk.
because that'll get rid of it.
Milk helps a lot of things. Now I want to grow the strawberries in like a hanging thing. I actually saw a hanging thing that took 4 or 6 pots about that big, which is all you need per strawberry, isn't it? About this big.
15. I hope she's got her Arctic clothing on.
Oh, that'd be 2 pairs of socks for me. Jumper, warm jammies, dressing gown.
But on the other side of Australia, where JP is, it's getting cold. They're getting a big high systems coming in. They'll get frost for a few nights in a row. So you might have to cover your veggies, JP. I'm pretty sure out of those two Speedos, bikinis, we know which one he would wear. Not a net. If you got any plastic? I mean, you could, if you happen to have a few rolls of Glad wrap, and you put a couple of sticks in the garden so that Glad wrap doesn't wrap the plants.
Well, you'd need the strong stuff though. That'd rip if it gets windy. Yeah, plastic sheet.
Some sort of plastic sheet. Just when you know you're going to get a frost, and you are going to get a frost in the next few days. But I've seen Glad wrap used as the last resort.
So you put sticks to hold it away from the plant.
It's one of those weird things with frost. It gets really, really cold at night, but just as the sun comes up, there's an inversion that takes place and it drops 4 or 5 degrees below zero, and then it kills the cells within plants, and it's all over Red Rover.
Now you've got a cherry tree.
Oh, we can buy netting pretty cheap here, second-hand netting from vineyards. That keeps the birds out. Well, it stops most of them, obviously. We're not.
Or people just buy the thin shade cloth.
Mm.
But that doesn't really help a frost.
You lose a bit in a garden, like you want to save your cherries, of course, so I'd cover them. But the birds do a trade-off. They eat a bit of your stuff, but they also eat all the bugs.
I haven't got that light on.
What light? Street light?
No, oval light.
Well, they're probably just down one end. Big oval. Yep, 10 p.m. beauty sleep. That means the amount of beauty sleep you need, you'll probably be up, I don't know, 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Just kidding. Yeah, we get plenty of grapes in Australia. Most of them come in a bottle though. All right, JP. Be safe, be careful.
See ya.
Good night, JP, our pole dancing friend. Make sure you don't cop it in the end.
Actually, that's a good song. What's the original song? Oh, that's Fernando.
Yep.
High country as well. Did he go and I didn't know?
He shot off a while ago.
Oh, I didn't say goodnight to him.
He's probably priming himself to do a bit of fishing if he's not working.
Leroy must have gone as well.
Who?
Leroy.
Okay. So we're all just caught up for a quick quiet one at the pub. Everyone's on the way. No worries. Well, that should finish off the garage then. All the mice gone, all the rubbish taken out, new doors.
New doors, whoa. You may need to be right back, so I have to get stars ready.
I think what it is, she's got it up to a certain degree now. She can read it as the B&B. We will turtle off soon as well, I think.
Yeah, got to go out the game.
Got a Yahtzee game?
Yeah.
Got a tournament, have you?
Yeah.
What do you win when you win?
Maybe.
Points?
Just like points, XP points. Couple of dice. Oh no!
We'll just take away your wrench for 5 years.
No, I'll just
Short punishment.
just only give you 2, and I'll have the chocolate. Oh dear. I don't know where Mel's gone. So what else are on the plans today for everyone?
I will never take your wrench, VMAC.
She wants to use it on. Oh, what's his name?
A bit of pottering. Maybe use the stool. We got a beaut little thing, little blue stool, really solid aluminium legs. It's lower than a chair, but it's perfect for the garden. I don't know if he'll actually come back, but he will be released under conditional parole.
Yeah, he will.
July 1. Nice bike ride. Where you live, because there's lots of trails and tracks, obviously, and good bits of road. Do many people have electric bikes, or even assisted? Like, you can pedal a bit, but electric bike does a lot of the work. Do you have those there? They're about $1,000 here to buy a decent one. And the battery charge gets you about 40 kilometres. Yeah, it'd be a good way to commute, I imagine. 40 kilometres is quite a lot for a charge, and that's if you don't pedal. They got all sorts there. Ladies ones. There's even a trike, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'd need. Does it come with trainer wheels?
Well, they've actually got an electric mountain bike here, 9 gears, very light alloy frame, off-road wheels. I think it's about $800. I think it's 250 watt, about 10 amps, I think it is.
Any wild animals when you go bike riding?
There's plenty here. Bike riding's good fun. It's a big competition in Australia, actually, off-road bike riding. But they're good, they don't race against each other, they just do time. Beautiful still night. It's dropped down to 17 degrees though. Ooh.
Now, the more I think about that clothes on the wall, the more I'm starting to want to just go back to the old rotary.
Well, that bugger's up playing any sport on the lawn for
You
the
can
kids.
get the what's the name ones.
I'm not going to lift it in and out all the time.
Oh, somewhere else. It's just that site you sent me. You could actually see the lines sag.
Oh no, you can get proper strong wire ones.
I don't know. I'll look tomorrow. Yep. I gotta go do a Yahtzee game. Oh, Mrs. Michelle.
You have a good day, V-Mac.
How are you? Long time no see.
Oh well, you pick whatever clothesline you like, but if you whack it in the lawn,
Oh no, I'll have
it's a
to have
pain
a
in the
look.
ass.
Yep, we're all well. How about you? Yeah, a few more plants to get, eh?
Yeah, a lot more actually. We're just waiting on the shed to go up, finish the front of the house and then carport. Then we can fill it in really.
Well, yeah, it's just what will help is the shed and clear out.
Well,
stuff.
yeah. That is for sure.
Okay, buddy.
Have a good one, Buttercup. We are going to toodle off as well, I think. It's getting very cold here at 17 degrees. Probably have to light a fire, put on several layers of clothing, drink rum. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say that.
Never ends, there's always something to do.
Yep, that's for sure. Yeah, when we get all the stuff out here, I'll be able to give the deck a good clean. All right, good people, it's time for toodle offing.
Too often.
That's it? No, like, message from the Queen, or?
No.
All right. Okay. Have a good day if you're just getting up. Be safe, be smart. When you can, be kind. Doesn't hurt. See you next time.